In the 21st century, we watch history as it happens through 24-hour television news. We, the fourth graders of Rocky Ridge, wondered, what if?
Colonial News Network, your 24-hour news station covering the 13 British colonies in the New World. This is CNN.
What a beautiful day it is today down in Jamestown.
Just beautiful, Matthew.
Good morning and welcome to CNN Now. I'm Matthew Shea and this is Amanda Steele.
Here are the top news stories around the colonies today. The French and Indian War, Sugar Act developments, Colonial weather report, and sports highlights.
These stories and more at CNN Now.
This is Sarah Bradley Fulton, and this is CNN, your Colonial News Network.
Now we're joining our CNN Lifestyles correspondent Mary Russell in the Ohio Valley. Well, Mary, we understand that many residents of the Ohio Valley are not happy with King George's most recent decision.
You're right, Matthew. King George III of England has just issued the Proclamation of 1763. This states that British colonists are not allowed to live on the newly acquired Ohio River Valley. The area was won by the British in the French and Indian War. The war was a result of the French soldiers getting too close to the British territory. King George viewed this as an attack and sent out British soldiers to fight the French for the land. Because of the new law, many settlers are being forced to move. Earlier, I spoke with Mr. Benjamin Rice. He has been a resident of this land for several years.
I am not too happy about moving my family from this land, but we will have to pack up our belongings, find a new home, a new job, and fertile land for growing crops. I feel it's unfair to make these British colonists move from their homes so the land can be used for Indian hunting grounds.
Reporting from the Ohio River Valley, Mary Russell, CNN.
Thanks, Mary. That news is sure to add fuel to our next story.
I'm afraid so. Recent developments have colonists in many towns up and down the coast very angry. Sugar Act, Stamp Act, and Townshend Act have provoked quite an outcry.
We have just learned that the colonists now have to pay a tariff on imported goods from England. They're being taxed by 3 new acts: Stamp Act, Sugar Act, and Townshend Act. Earlier I spoke with local business owners about how these taxes affect their businesses.
King George was issued a tax on paint, windows, glassware, tea, and even coffee. I have several orders to paint neighbors' homes, but I cannot finish building them until windows are shipped from Liverpool, England. Now when they arrive, the builder will be so taxed that he may have a windowless house. The Stamp Act includes taxation on stationery, envelopes, books, even the newspaper. Everything made of paper. As a private citizen, I can't even afford a stationery to write my dear old mummy in York, England. How will she ever know my brother recently died? I could plan to travel back to England and tell her, but the ticket itself is made out of paper. Even my journey home will be taxed. This Sugar Act is a tariff for molasses, sugar, and other sweet products. Because of this taxation, I will have to charge twice as much for my cakes and pastries. And I know that my pies and cakes will be too expensive to sell. So my business is now ruined, just ruined. And can you imagine running a bakery without sugar?
Truly a sticky situation for Mrs. Crocker. Patrick Brown, CNN.
Well, we could sure use some good news about the weather, Catherine.
Well, Matthew, the weather's not going to be much better than the news. And the New England colonies expect thunderstorms. And the middle colonies expect more thunderstorms. And in the southern colonies expect sunshine. This has been your CNN Colonial Weather Forecast.
I'm Catherine Davis. Now back to you, Matthew. Have a beautiful day.
Thanks, Catherine. If you're out of work, here's some community job opportunities. This is Matthew O'Shea. We have breaking news coming in from Boston. We have a report that there has been a riot between the King's soldiers and a crowd of colonists near Boston. Yes, we have a reporter on the scene.
I'm Jane Allen. The King's soldiers are stationed in Boston. The Bostonians feel that the soldiers' presence is unnecessary. Boston colonists are so angry over the new high taxes and British soldiers in the city that an outbreak of fighting has occurred. Children began the fighting by throwing rocks and stones at several British soldiers and calling them names. Hey, Bloody Back! Bloody Back! Hey, Rico! Someone's been shot. It's Christmas Addict! This is too dangerous.
Oh, we have seemed to lost correspondent Jane Allen. I hope we don't have a massacre in our hand in Boston. What do you have?
Political leader Samuel Adams and writer Thomas Paine are eager to share their viewpoints on the growing unrest in our colonies. Martha Wallace, CNN political consultant, talks with them.
I'm Martha Wallace, here with Samuel Adams and Thomas Paine. Welcome, gentlemen, and thank you for taking a moment to talk with us. Thomas Paine, there's been many heated debates over the pamphlet you wrote, Common Sense. What inspired you to write this pamphlet? It's plain and simple. A person's common sense will tell you that we need to unite and fight for liberty and independence. Wake up and smell the tea. It's just common sense. No taxation without representation. Thank you, Thomas Paine, for sharing your thoughts live with CNN Now. Samuel Adams, you hold Thomas Paine's thoughts about common sense. Do you agree or disagree with Mr. Paine? I agree totally with Thomas Paine. We must unite and declare our independence. Us colonists are sick and tired of being ruled by a dictator like King George III. We must stand together and protect our liberty. Thank you for your comments, gentlemen. Now back to you, Amanda.
Thank you, Martha. That was Samuel Adams and Thomas Paine.
We'll return with sports highlights and CNN Tax Talk.
I'm John Adams, and this is the Colonial News Network.
Hi, I'm Ray Johnson, and this is John Oko. Well, John is a man of great day in sports.
Your radio, Rick, and here's some footage of last night's game.
Here you see the New York Kings in the lead 14-6 early in the game. But of course, they let that lead go, and they lost to the Boston Patriots 105-72. Huge blowout.
Today, I got a chance to interview the coach of the Boston Patriots, Coach James Parker. How does it feel to have won by 32 points, Coach Parker?
It feels great. The New York Kings put up a tough fight. We were ready for you.
We're out of time right now. I'm Rick Johnson.
And John Oko. Remember,
Winning isn't everything, but it sure feels good.
Hello, I'm Jill Adams with Tax Talk. Earlier this week, I had the opportunity to talk with Mr. Benjamin Franklin.
I asked Mr. Franklin how he felt about the new taxes King George has put on the colonies. Here is his answer.
The taxes, they present a considerable burden to the colonies. And while I do realize that particularly the French and Indian War was most expensive for England, and there is a necessity for raising taxes, I think it is also most important that if a group of people are to be taxed, that they should have a voice in how these taxes shall be levied.
There you have it, an expert's thoughts on taxes. My thanks to Mr. Benjamin Franklin for agreeing to be on Tax Talk. I'm Jill Adams. Have a good day.
Well, that does it for this segment of CNN Colonial News Network. I'm Matthew O'Shea.
And I'm Amanda Steele. We'll both be back tomorrow.
Colonial News Network. This is CNN.
I'm Phyllis Whitley, and this is CNN.